Hello, my name is Brian Mattox. I'm the Senior Portfolio Manager here at Kendall Capital. And today I'd like to spend a few minutes talking about the US-China trade war. And before I get started, I'd just like to say there's so much information that we do not know. So it's really hard to say, from our perspective, who's right, who's wrong, where are things going. It's just really difficult to say. To that end, we have an analyst named Zemin Zhu. He is from China, and he still has a lot of contacts in China, still has friends and family. And what he said was they're saying that the government of China really hasn't commented. They've really been quiet until a couple days ago, and they've really started to ramp up the anti-US, kind of anti-trade war propaganda. The U.S. basically has three goals they want to see from this trade war and what outcomes they're looking to get. And it's really to stop the intellectual capital being transferred to the Chinese government. And it's more on the technology side. It's also to try and stop the Chinese government from giving subsidies to their companies, basically really mitigating or minimizing the imports that they're going to need from the U.S. And also, and lastly, it's really to try to overall just try and stop China from becoming the largest economy in the world, which they've been growing so much over the past 10, 20 years. Just some other aspects you might want to consider is China has the trade deficit with the U.S. was about 80 billion in 2004. Today it's 323 billion. So it's really been growing, and it's really really large right now. Some other aspects you might want to consider are the China exports to the U.S. what equates to roughly about 3.8% of their GDP, whereas the U.S. exports to China about 0.5% of our GDP, which really it equates to being much more expensive for China to really keep this ongoing trade war going. So where are we now? Talks have broken down. The leaders most likely will get together at the end of June. Maybe they can work something out, maybe they can't. Both sides are really fighting hard, but in the end, you really have to consider that Trump really needs a win. He needs a deal. He needs to get this past him so he can kind of look to re-election. And really, there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of information. There's a lot of press talk going on right now. And really, at the end of the day, what you need to do is really stay diversified, stay in it for the long term, stay invested, and kind of ride this out. I'm Brian Mattox. I hope you find this helpful. Thank you.